welcome back to my channel. So I had been going through something the past few days. Nothing major, but it's just like a progression of things. And it started with not questioning my faith per se, but I was watching The Chosen, and there was a scene where the woman with the issue of blood, she was gonna approach Jesus, and she was like kind of like going back and forth on like, okay, anybody who touches me is gonna be unclean, right? And she's like, I certainly don't want to make him unclean. I don't want to make anybody else unclean. I'm not really supposed to be here. There's a ton of people here, but like in the story, it was like she had spent all her money. She had been disowned. She was like living far away. She couldn't really be around people. And then of course, like the issue itself, right? It just makes her so incredibly tired. So like all that blood loss just, made her exhausted all the time. So it was just like this perpetual thing that didn't allow her to live, didn't allow her to have relationships, didn't allow her to, she couldn't live financially free. She couldn't be with other people. She didn't have community, right? She didn't have her family. She didn't have, just so many things were taken from her because of this thing. And she was desperate, right? So she's like, she sees Jesus, she sees her moment, and she's like, I'm running out of time here. I need to do something. I need to do it now. I need to do it fast, right? So she pushes her way through the crowd, right? Which is like a no-no because, she's making all these people unclean, right? And she's just like, but I gotta do this. I gotta do this. And she doesn't touch him. She just touches the hem of his garment, right? And because her faith was saying, if I just do that one thing, if I just do this one thing, I'm going to be made whole, right? I'm going to be healed. And so of course that's what happens, right? And Jesus stops and he's like, who touched me? Right? Because I felt the power go out of me. And he tells her, like, your faith has made you well, right? And we know that Jesus couldn't heal people who didn't have faith. And I'm just like, I'm watching her. She was like, before she went and did that, she was like struggling. She was like back and forth, and people were shouting like, unclean, unclean, and like, you can't be here. And she's just like, this thing is slipping away, and if I let it slip away, that's it. That's my chance right there. And so she's like, I'm taking it. I'm going for it. And as I'm watching her, I'm just like, that's tenacity. That's tenacity right there. And I went to God. I paused it and I was like, I'm not tenacious. I want to be tenacious. And he was like, you are tenacious. And he was like, but you lack faith. And I was like, I would have thought it was confidence. And he was like, that too, and it's because the two are related. And so, that really set me on a path of, thinking on faith. And it was like right in the midst of that, I was faced with something else. And it's something that God has asked me to do, right? Something that God has promised me. And despite the obstacles, despite, ways I get maybe triggered, or, just things that come across that are just like really not easy to deal with, because of what was promised and because of my obedience to God, I have not let go of this thing for dear life, like I have held on, and sometimes by a thread, I won't lie, but I have held on. I have just held on. And it is broken stuff inside of me. It has pruned stuff. It has disciplined me. It has, in other words, it has immensely blessed me because each time I go through something like that, it has strengthened me, or just like changed my mindset, or deliver me of something, prune me of something. So all in all, this promise has helped to develop me, and there's too much to mention in this one thing, because it's like when God promises something to you, it's not just the thing that he's promising you, right? It's like even the journey along the way, like all the stuff that he's doing in you is the blessing. So it's like this one promise is producing a ton of blessings that I there's no way I could tell you all of it. And I'm not even through all of it yet. So it's still like a work in progress. It's still something that I'm being blessed in. So, but the main point of this, okay, like as I was thinking about faith, tenacity, confidence, all this stuff, right? I was faced with this situation that really challenged me. And in dealing with that, I saw how tenacious I was, because I'm not willing to let go. And I was like, huh, I do have faith. I do, like, I am tenacious. I'm just not applying it to these other things, right? And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I get it now, Like, yeah, I am tenacious, but in these other areas of my life, I have not been having faith. I have not been having confidence in the Lord, like to do these things, right? So that day, I was like, aha, got it, So that was the faith part. And then I believe it was the next day, or maybe like 2 days later, God brought me to the idea of expansion. And I'm like, okay. And so I was like thinking on that, and then he brought me to opportunity. And maybe I should back up a little bit. With the expansion, that's more about your mindset. So it's like dealing with like your heart and mind, and being willing to see the bigger picture, to not just limit yourself, to fully wrap your mind around it. But it's like your heart and your mind have to be open to it, basically, for you to have expansion, right? You can't just keep the same mindset and have expansion. Like, you have to broaden your heart and mind to realize it, basically. And then it was like the next day where God was opening my mind to opportunities, to see the opportunities and to take them, because you actually have a great deal of blessings all around you. And it doesn't mean that you just grab every single thing, right? You have to be like in alignment with God. You have to be led by him. You don't just follow every single trail you come across, right? You only go on the ones that he's like, I want you to take this one, And sometimes that trail is not even there. Like, he just makes it for you. He makes a way where there's no way. So there was that. And then today I was brought to maximization. And I started looking at everything in totality. So you got like faith, expansion, opportunity, and maximization, right? And I was seeing how these things create abundance. And I was like, okay, this plus this plus this plus this equals abundance, right? But I was like, there's something missing in this. And I was like, okay, these are all blessings, but the blessings produce abundance, right? But I was looking at, too, the order in which they were occurring. And so the thing that you have faith for, like, where does that come from? Well, it's going to be, and this is where I started with it, a desire in your heart, right? And God gives you the desires of your heart. So Psalm 37:4 says, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires and petitions of your heart." This is the Amplified version. And the reason I went with the Amplified version is because if you look at the word desire, it can also be translated to petition. And what is a petition? It's like basically whatever you're asking for, whatever you're praying for, right? And Colossians 4:3 highlights this. Okay, so Colossians 4:3, it says, "And pray for us too," which is a petition, right? "That God may open a door for our message, so that we may proclaim the mystery of Christ, for which I am now in chains." So I'm gonna refer to my notes here because I'm gonna get so lost in, like, I'll end up just, talking to you about whatever. So I should have started with faith. Well, I'll get there. But okay. So Colossians 4:3 and Psalm 37:4, right? It's talking about the desires of your heart. And well, Colossians 4:3 is speaking of a petition that you like basically whatever you ask for. It's relating to that Bible verse, you have not because you ask not. And okay, so James 4 2-3. "You desire, but you do not have, so you kill. You covet, but you cannot get what you want, so you quarrel and fight. You do not have because you do not ask God. When you ask, you do not receive because you ask with wrong motives." Okay, so some of this information is going to overlap, but it basically just reinforces each step, okay? So this is saying you have not because you ask not, right? Which is what I was touching on. So first you start with a desire in your heart, right? God gives you the desires of your heart. And it doesn't mean that you want a Lamborghini, you want a Ferrari, you want a, I don't know, smoker. I'm talking about, something to cook with here. It's like, it's not necessarily, it's not the desires of your flesh, okay? It's the desires of your heart. God will give you the desires of your heart. And it's as you follow Him, as your mind is renewed, as you pray to Him, you seek Him, you put in the time to spend time with Him. He changes you, right? And He gives you the desires of your heart. This is not the desires of your flesh. And let's say you're meant to be a cook, like a really good cook, and you're meant to, use this gift to help people. And, God has us doing like a wide variety of things, right? So yeah, you might actually want a smoker or a grill or, outdoor kitchen or a restaurant or I don't know, food truck, you name it. So that could be a desire of your heart. But what I'm emphasizing here is that it has to be of your heart and not of your flesh. Okay? God gives you the desires of your heart. So it starts there. That is the thing you start with, the desire. Or it's like something that He promised you, but I guarantee you He's not going to promise you something that you are not desiring, because those two things are going to be in alignment. So you start there, and then you have to have faith, right? You have to have faith to receive these things, right? You have to believe. In what is faith? Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, right? Things unseen. And sometimes like what it says is like, now faith is the substance. It could be the confidence or the assurance. So it's like, you have to know this is a done deal. This is a done deal. This thing that you are hoping for, this is like your faith is what brings you to that thing. Okay? So first off, you got to have faith, right? Second thing, God has to set up your mind and your heart so that you can receive this thing, so that you can realize it, so that you can not just see it, but like you have to have the right heart posture. You have to have the right mindset to be able to handle this thing. He can't just hand it to you and he's like, okay, well, best of luck. You know, he's not going to do that. He's going to be like, I need to prepare you first. I need to get you ready to have this thing, and not just have it, but keep it, right? Because he's not just handing it to you for like a short time, and maybe, you know, maybe he's bringing you on to something else. But the point is, you're going to have it as long as you need to have it. So he has to prepare you to have it. Okay. And that isn't always so clear cut. You know, you think, oh, I got to do this and this and this. And he's like, before we can even get to that, I got to have you go over here with something that you think is totally unrelated, but it's a part of your process. It's a part of your, you know, like disciplining yourself. It's part of your purging. It's part of your whatever. He's preparing you, okay, to have the right heart posture, to have the right mindset in order for you to have the thing, okay? So first is faith, right? Second, the expansion, okay? So he's preparing your heart and mind. And the third thing, okay, let me back up a little bit. So like Romans 12:2 says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Okay? So that just jumps back to the things that you, like the desires of your heart. Okay? Since the desires of your heart are in alignment with what God has for you, okay, that's part of his perfect will. And this is just reinforcing, it's saying, do not conform to the pattern of this world. What is it saying? You can't do this the world's way. You got to do this God's way. And to do it God's way, he's going to prepare you. Okay, that's preparing your heart and mind. Okay, so the third thing is the opportunity. And that's where, so like after you've been prepared for it, God's going to open the door for you. Okay, so if we look at like Isaiah 22:22 and Revelation 3:8, because both of them essentially say the same thing. Revelation 3:8 says, I know your deeds. See, I have placed before you an open door that no one can shut. Okay? So when God opens a door for you, that's it. Okay? Nobody else is closing that door. And when he brings you that open door, walk through it, please. Don't look at it and go, I don't know, because we already know. You had the desire in your heart, right? You already went through the faith, so don't start questioning it now, right? You develop the right mindset and the right heart posture to do this thing. So don't start going back on it, okay? Walk through the door. Deuteronomy 15:5-6 says, if you fully obey the Lord your God and are careful to follow all these commands I am giving you today, for the Lord your God will bless you as he has promised. He's going to deliver on this, okay? What does it say? Like, God's word does not return to him void. Like, he will do the thing that he has promised you. No ifs, ands, or buts. Like, this is a done deal. Okay? Now, Satan's going to try to, like, trip you up. You know, because he does. I mean, he doesn't trip you up. He tries to trip you up. That's the thing he tries to do. Okay? And that's what I mean by he does. Like, he tries to do this thing. But you need to just be steadfast in this, okay? Okay, so after God has opened the door and you start to do this thing, you need to do it with maximization, okay? And what is maximization? It's basically using your ability, using your what he has given you to do this thing, okay? You're not sort of in it. You don't got one foot in the world and one foot in this thing. You don't, like, you're all in. You have to be all in, okay? And this brings me to the story of the parable of talents, if you remember. And I'm going to read it to you anyway, so. Buckle up. Parable of the talents. For it is just like a man who was about to take a journey, and he called his servants together and entrusted them with his possessions. To one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, each according to his own ability. And how did they have the ability? Well, and how do you have your ability, right? Because first of all, you have the desire in your heart, so you have it in you to do the thing, right? And then, you have faith to do it, right? And then what? Your mind and your heart are prepared for it. So you have the ability, right? And then he went on his journey. The one who had received the 5 talents went at once and traded with them, and he made a profit and gained 5 more. Likewise, the one who had 2 made a profit and gained 2 more. And I'm reading from the Amplified version just to let you know. So it's like kind of like breaking it down a little bit more. So let's see, where did I leave off? Okay. But the one who had received the 1 went and dug a hole in the ground and hid his master's money. Okay, so he didn't do anything with it, right? Now, after a long time, the master of those servants returned and settled accounts with them. And the one who had received the 5 talents came and brought him 5 more, saying, Master, you entrusted to me 5 talents. See, I have made a profit and gained 5 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful and trustworthy over a little. I will put you in charge of many things. Share in the joy of your master. Also the one who had the 2 talents came forward, saying, Master, you entrusted 2 talents to me. See, I have made a profit. See, I have made a profit and gained 2 more talents. His master said to him, Well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful and trustworthy over a little. I will put you in charge of many things. Share in the joy of your master. The one who had received 1 talent also came forward, saying, Master, I knew you to be a harsh and demanding man, reaping the harvest where you did not sow and gathering where you did not scatter seed. So I was afraid to lose the talent, and I went and hid your talent in the ground. See, you have what is your own. But his master answered him, You wicked, lazy servant. You knew that I reap a harvest where I did not sow and gather where I did not scatter seed. Then you ought to have put money with the bankers, and at my return I would have received the money back with interest. So take the talent away from him and give it to the one who has 10 talents. For to everyone who has and values his blessings and gifts from God and has used them wisely, more will be given, and he will be richly supplied so that he will have an abundance. But the one who does not have because of he has ignored or disregarded his blessings and gifts from God, even what he does have will be taken away. And throw out the worthless servant into the outer darkness. In that place of grief and torment, there will be weeping over sorrow and pain and grinding teeth over distress and anger. So I feel sad. I feel sad reading that, because it's just like the one who hid his talent, okay? The one who didn't do anything with it, wasted it, right? I mean, yeah, you could say the talent is still there, but what did he do with it? He didn't do anything. And so it was taken away. You're desiring a thing. Do you really want it taken away? This thing is something that you deeply want. It's something you think on often. It's something that I can't say it keeps you up at night, because it shouldn't be worrying you, but it's something that's driving you. It's something that you think about often. Are you really willing to let it go? You need to use your gifts and your talents to do the work of the Lord. There's something inside of you He has placed inside of you that needs to come out. And if you're not utilizing your gifts and your talents, if you're not doing the thing that He wants you to do, He's going to take it from you. And then it's not even just like him taking it from you, which would is abundantly sad. But think of like all that you're denying the world. You are important. You are important to the kingdom of heaven. So you need to be doing the thing that he has you desiring. You need to be doing this thing. I cannot emphasize this enough. So please, 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 please do not let this go. Hold on to it for dear life. Do the thing that he wants you to do. Okay? And once you have gone through all this stuff, okay, where like you start with faith or the desire in your heart, you develop the right mindset and heart posture, God opens the door for you, and you maximize that opportunity to the fullest extent, please have fun with it the whole entire process. Like sometimes, like, you know, when God prepares your heart and your mind, it doesn't always feel good, but don't make it worse than it is. Okay? Do not resort to your flesh, and best believe that Satan's going to try to pull you into your flesh, but you need to go with the spirit, right? Like the person who walks in the spirit is not going to walk according to the flesh, right? So have fun in the thing that God has you doing, especially when it comes time to maximizing that opportunity. Please have fun with it. Please do it with passion. Do it with like everything in you. Go for it. Maximize every little thing in that thing as you are led to. Okay? Don't stress. Keep having faith. Don't fear. Don't worry. Don't doubt. Okay? And I'm breaking it down. Just don't walk according to the flesh. Okay? All the things like anxiety, don't do it. Be anxious for nothing. God did not give you a spirit of fear, right? You have two options here. You can have fear or you can have faith. Which one are you going with? It better be faith. So that's it. That's my message right there. It's just something that God opened my eyes to about, you know, living in abundance. And that's just one thing. That's just one area. I think when we think about abundance, we tend to think of overflow in every single area of our life, and that doesn't mean that you can't. Okay? But I'm just trying to show you that just one desire of your heart leads to abundance in that area. Okay? So you have like the full you have the ability to live in, I don't know if I want to use the word ability, but as it is God's will, okay? Like every single desire, everything in you, the person he has created you to be, your identity in Christ, all of it creates abundance, okay? So don't just limit yourself to like one thing. Like go for it all. Okay? And it's not like I got all these desires, so I'm going to tackle all of them. No. He's going to lead you as he needs to lead you, okay? But you do start with a desire, and he'll show you. He'll show you like this thing. We're going to do this thing right now, okay? So, but the thing that I wanted to emphasize is that just one desire creates abundance. Like think on all the different ways that he wants to create abundance in your life. And nobody come at me with prosperity gospel. Don't do that. No, because every good thing comes from God, okay? Every good and perfect thing comes from God. And if God wants you to have it, you're going to have it. And it's not just, what I have found is when he blesses you, those blessings create overflow for, you know, the people around you. And you need to bless others as you are led to bless. So it's not just so that you can live in some mansion, you know, and have however many cooks and this and that. Like we don't go after our flesh, okay? We don't go after the desires of our flesh. But if he's giving you wealth, if he's giving you things, I guarantee you it's to bless others. I guarantee you it's to use it for his kingdom. So, nobody come at me with prosperity stuff, okay? We're not doing that here. yeah, just never come at me with that. Because I'm not one of those people that's like, I gotta have this kind of car and this kind of, house and this and this and this. Like, no. No, I want to help people. So, anyway, I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So, you start with faith and, or you start with actually the desire in your heart, and it leads to faith. Yeah. And then you develop the right mindset or in the right heart posture. God opens the door, and then you maximize that open door. So I just want to tell you, God bless you, and choose to live free.